The last section of this text, Tattvabodha, is being discussed now, where the topic is Jivan Muktaha, the one who is liberated even while living. As I said, that is the most noble goal or the agenda that somebody can teach, and that is to become free in this life itself. In fact, Vedanta teaches that moksha, freedom, can only be attained in human body and in this life. Otherwise, we will take up another life form, another life, to continue our pursuit until this goal of attaining moksha or unconditional freedom until it is attained. So this we have said a number of times, that we are born with this goal in mind. Knowingly or unknowingly, consciously or unconsciously, every human being is pursuing this goal called moksha. At some point in time in our life, when we become aware that what I am searching for is moksha, then life becomes more meaningful. Life gains a direction which is now in the right direction, and then when a deliberate journey for moksha, freedom, happiness, liberation is started, a day will come when that mission will be fulfilled. And so this could be a process stretching over a number of lifetimes. None of us who is sitting here has perhaps started the spiritual pursuit in this life, although it may look like, Swami, I didn't know anything, I had no idea. Maybe so. But when the right time comes, then the samskaras that we had, they become manifest. Tatratam buddhi sanyogam labhate paurodehikam. He left off, that is where it will continue. There could be some karma because of which that pursuit may not be evident right away. You're 5, 15, 25, 55, 85, at some point in time, but then when some karmas which were obstructing that pursuit, when that karmas are gone, then the pursuit begins. So this is an accomplishment which is the result of the spiritual pursuit over maybe a number of lifetimes. Although we may feel a Ramana Maharshi or Ramakrishna Paramahamsa attaining this in this lifetime, but then they were all born with very rich samskaras. And so, from very childhood, the saints have shown those characteristics. So, Jivan Muktaha, one who is liberated even while living. Remember that liberation is not attaining something new. Liberation is our nature. This is what Vedanta teaches us. If I am bound by nature, then liberation may or may not be assured. Although I feel that I am bound, although I feel that I am limited, restrained, helpless in many cases, still that bondage or a sense of restrainment, helplessness is not my nature. By nature, I am a free person. That I feel I am bound, I am restrained by the world, I feel helpless sometimes, that I cannot accomplish what I want to accomplish, or I cannot avoid what I want to avoid. I may look like that, but helplessness is not my nature. Bondage is not my nature. Freedom is our nature. And therefore, the bondage that we feel, helplessness that we may feel, being restrained, being controlled, we may feel, that is not in keeping with our nature. That feeling of bondage, Vedanta explains, is the result of ignorance. Like the 10th man, not knowing that I am the 10th man, and takes himself different from 10th man and is searching for the 10th man. Like the musk deer, also a well-known example. For the musk deer, musk is right in the navel. And musk is searching for musk, they say, not knowing that it is right with me. So just because we are searching for happiness in life, just because we find ourselves searching for freedom in life, does not have to mean that freedom or happiness are different from us. It is a false notion born of ignorance. And therefore, Vedanta teaches that attaining freedom is not attaining something which was not there. Attaining freedom is really becoming free from the notion of bondage. Not that the bondage goes away. It is the notion of bondage that has to go. We have told you the story of that cow, the 4 cows. In a forest is a teacher, a guru, and the shishya. And shishya is serving the guru and learning from the guru. One of the tasks that the shishya or disciple had to perform was to take the 4 cows which the guru had. Take this cow early morning, take the cows to the forest for grazing, come back in the afternoon, and then pursue his studies. So one afternoon when the shishya or disciple returns from the forest, he finds that of the 4 ropes which were used for tying this cow, each one to its own post, one of that ropes was missing. He could tie the 3 cows to their post, but did not know how to tie the 4th cow. And if he would not tie, the cow might just walk away. So he goes to the guru. Sir, I don't know what happened to the 4th rope. It's lost. He said, did you tie the cow? But how can I tie the cow when the rope is lost? No, you tie the cow. How do I do that? Just as you do every day. But without rope, without the rope. Shishya could not understand. He thought something strange with the Guru. He was asking me to tie the cow without the rope. But anyway, fortunately he was an obedient disciple. And so he took the cow to its regular place, spot, made gestures of tying the cow, and to his utter surprise, the cow stayed there for the whole night until next morning. Next morning time came to take the cows for grazing. He untied the 3 cows which he had tied. The 4th cow was not tied. He twisted the tail, and the cow would normally start walking, and this cow would not start walking. Again went to the Guru. What's the problem? How come this cow is not walking? He said, did you untie the cow? But I have not tied the cow. No, untie the cow. Very strange Guru. But anyway, he went, untied the cow, to his utter surprise. Then when he twisted the tail, the cow started walking. So Vedanta says, that's the kind of bondage we all we have. Like the cow thought that it was bound, is not the true bondage, it was the notion of bondage. And therefore, what has to go is not real bondage, what has to go is the notion of bondage. I'm bound, I'm helpless, I'm tied. I have no way, Swami. I would always follow instructions. I'm always controlled. We feel controlled, tied down, helpless very often. Even when we feel that is not the case with us really, it is body that is tied down. The body is controlled. The body has to follow the laws of nature. Even the mind may have to follow. What happens to the body and the mind is habitually taken to happen to me because of the identification. And therefore, it is not there to make the body independent or free, which we cannot. Body is a part of this universal scheme and therefore it has to follow the laws. And even if I wish, I cannot jump on 14th story of a building and stay alive or safe. I have to climb down the stairs. I have to follow the laws of nature. So at the level of the upadhi, the body, mind, sense complex, there is going to be, it's a part of the universal scheme and it has to follow the laws. Even a wise person also does not get that kind of freedom that now he is free from the body, therefore he can jump up and down. He cannot. Doesn't have to anyway. Why should he? What is that? The notion that it is body that is bound or tied, not I. It is mind that has to follow the laws, not I, and the laws are followed at the level of my costume and not my level. That's all that you have to know. By the knowledge, the body will remain still what it is. It will hunger and thirst and whatever normal things happen, they will continue to happen. There may not be any outward change as far as a wise person is concerned. That is a total internal transformation. It may change the outer behavior also, not that it may not change. But still the person may continue to speak the same language that he or she did in the earlier days, eat the same kind of diet and do similar things. This so-called freedom or moksha may not necessarily appear as some kind of a physical characteristic or or a mental characteristics because it is the nature of the self. And so he has become liberated now even while alive, even when the body is. So traditionally this liberation is explained as a liberation from the bondage of karma. In the Vedic culture, this karma, the law of karma, is a very important law. All the traditions that emerged in India, whether Hinduism, Buddhism, Jainism, Sikhism, or any other thing, all of them follow the law of karma. All of them respect the law of karma. Means there is a previous life and this life. We accept that there is continuity of life, which the traditions born outside of India they do not accept. Whether Judaism, Christianity, Islam, they do not accept a previous life or the next life. They think that this is the only life that you have. But we say no. Nothing in the universe gets destroyed. There is conservation of energy, conservation of mass. Why should life get destroyed? Why cannot there be the consummation of life also? So just as the mass does not get destroyed, just transformed into another form, or energy also doesn't get destroyed, get transformed into another form, so also life does not get destroyed, it transforms into another form. It's called rebirth. They call it reincarnation, rebirth. So we say that life is not born, does not die, it continues from one embodiment to the other. And therefore, it carries also the samskaras, impressions from all the previous lives. So what is meant by a law of karma is the law of cause and effect. As you sow, so you reap. Simple. And so you get the kind of harvest depending upon what you have sown, the seeds that you have sown. The karma or action that you perform is comparable to a seed, and the result of karma is comparable to a fruit. Karma and karma phala. And so every action must necessarily give rise to a result. Every deliberate action. The non-deliberate acts like breathing, etc., they don't produce any result. But any deliberate action that you perform will produce a result. If the action is in keeping with the moral law that pervades the universe, that action will be called a punya karma, a virtuous action. If on the other hand, my action violates a moral law, it will be papa karma or vicious action, papa and punya. And as human beings, we constantly keep on performing karma. Very often, the karma or action is performed out of inner pressure. Sometimes something pressurizes, like an anger pressurizes me to do something. My anger, my lust, greed, jealousy, some of these negative impulses, when they become strong, then they compel me or they prevail upon me and make me do things. In that case, the action is likely to be a violent action, And papa karma, negative action, it will cause damage to someone as well as to me. So this is a typical situation of the human being, that because a human being has free will, if that freedom is expressed in keeping with the moral law, then that action is called punya karma, virtuous action. So by deliberately performing virtuous action, I help myself, I create the possible happiness for myself. And by performing papa karma, nobody performs papa karma. When it's compelled to perform punya karma, we perform deliberately. Papa karma, we are compelled by our own impulses. Given a choice, no human being would want to perform vicious action. If given a choice, nobody would want to be violent or hurtful, harmful, untruthful, dishonest. Because by nature, human being is honest and kind and non-violent. And therefore, each one of us loves to be kind and non-violent and truthful and charitable. We love each one of us. That's our nature. Then you may ask this question, Swami, if this is so, then how come we find so much violence? You say, we do not deliberately perform a violent action, but some of the impulses that have taken the root in my mind, those impulses such as anger or greed or jealousy, compel me to perform a violent action. Understand this. Nobody is dishonest by nature. But dishonesty is the result of some greed, etc., which is there, which compels a person. And when you do it for a long time, maybe that may become a habit. Thus, the karma that we perform can be broadly classified as punya karma and papa karma, virtuous actions and vicious actions. The result of punya karma is happiness because it was done in keeping with the moral order. Therefore, it creates harmony, which creates happiness. The papa karma or vicious action is that which was performed in violation to the moral order, and therefore it creates unhappiness. Papa, punya. Papa creates dukkham, punya creates sukham. Simple. But another thing about this karma is that karma must necessarily give rise to a result which we have to experience. Whoever performs a karma has to experience the result of the karma today or tomorrow. Abhuktam kara nakshino nakshya. The karma that is not abhuktam, not experienced, will never come to an end. Today or tomorrow. They say that it will take any number of births. It's likely that karma that I perform today, the result may be experienced out of number of births. Just as a general rule. So karma that is performed by us will give rise to result which we have to experience. The whole universe, countless people, countless karma, countless results, countless births. Who can keep track of this? there is some super computer which seems to keep track of how many lifetimes you have gone through. Countless human beings going through countless lifetimes, performing countless karma, producing countless results. And the karma may not necessarily give us result immediately. It may give us result in future and much later also, depending on karma. Like a seed may produce fruit quickly or may take long time. A mango seed may take maybe 10 years to produce mangoes. A banana will produce fruits in 1 or 2 years. A papaya may produce fruits in 3 years, something like that. So different kinds of seeds produce fruits at different times. Similarly, every karma is comparable to seed which will produce fruit when depends on the karma. So some karmas produce results immediately and therefore I may experience results right in this lifetime itself. Drishta phalam, immediate result, like I eat fruit, I eat and hunger is appeased. So many karmas are there which give us in short time, in this lifetime. But since I keep on performing karma every moment, there could be many karmas which have not had opportunity to give rise to the result. Then what happens to those karmas, the karma phala, result of the action, which is not fructified? What happens to them? They all get accumulated in my account. And when their time will come, even next birth, third birth, nth birth, this karma will wait in my account to produce the outcome at appropriate time. This is what our system is. It's a logical system. Don't be too much concerned about karma and don't be worried about, but this is the understanding of karma and karma phala. So karma is called bondage. This karma bandhanam, the bondage of karma, is a very famous expression in the Vedic culture. And some people talk a lot about karma bandhanam, like Jains, etc., are really tremendously devoted to this karma bandhanam. Your karma will bind you. Take care, karma will bind you. Therefore, one way of explaining mukti or freedom is freedom from bondage of karma. That's one way of explaining. Why is it so? Because the karma that is not exhausted by experiencing, they all stay in my account and will produce a result. And therefore, they will make me take next birth to experience them. Therefore, the karma phalas which are not experienced, they stand in my account, and when I leave this body, some of those karmas, not all, I have countless karmas, accumulated countless births, we are going from this process for time beginningless. Therefore, countless karmas are accumulated in our account, like a savings account. Every month you make some money income and then put in savings and putting the savings and builds up. You may invest that in some kind of a, what do you call it, the CD? CD. Means what? Deposit. So some term, that is why the money if you invested 5-year term, 10 years, 15 years, then you'll get that money. Otherwise, they stay in your account. Similarly also, some karmas, they fructify and produce a result, and rest remain in your account. So more karma you perform, more savings are there, more karma you perform, more savings. Some of them get fructified and others get accumulated. This is how the things go on. Don't strain your brain too much about this stuff, but just understand that this is how it is. Meaning that we have countless karmas already waiting in our account, accumulated over countless births, and therefore these karmas will force us to take next birth until the result is experienced. Therefore, this birth is the result of the past karma. Why I am what I am and you are what you are is because each one of us has a unique history. Each one of us perform karmas in our unique way, and therefore each one is unique, being the result of the karmas that each one of us performed. Makes sense? Thus, this principle of continuity of life, which requires rebirth, and this law of karma that you earn what you saved, that explains why there is this diversity in the creation. Well, you are what you are, I am what I am, because what I am is the result of the karma I perform. You are the result of karma that you perform. Each one performs karma in their own unique way. So each one is unique. There are no two identical things in the universe. Everything is unique. Even two leaves are not identical. Even these two fingers, their lines are not identical. Nothing is identical. This is most amazing, is it not so? Imagine what kind of a creator he must be who should take into account. The creator has to take all this into account. What kind of computer it must be? Then he must be, it's called Sarvagna, omniscient, all-knowing. But in this universal super computer, no mistakes are made. It's not that you perform the karma and then I am stuck with the outcome. See, those who do not accept karma, those who do not believe in the previous birth, do not believe in next birth, there is no explanation for why I am what I am. Oh, God made you like this. Why should God make me like this and make you like that? So therefore, there are a lot of problems with God, who creates things out of his own fancy. For the Vedic culture also, God creates, no doubt. But while creating us and anything, God also takes into account the karma that is performed. When a house is built, the architect builds the house, no doubt. But the architect builds a house in keeping with the requirements of the client. So when a house of a given kind is built, architect may be a common person who has built 15 houses. But what is the reason why every house is different? Because every client is different and every requirement is different. So as God is the common creator of all of us, the reason why each one of us is unique is because God creates in keeping with my karma. So this body and this personality is the result of my karma. That personality is the result of that karma. This one explains the diversity in the universe. If God created out his own fancy, then what is the reason why he should create the diversity? What is the reason? Why should he make me what I am and not what somebody else is? These questions cannot be answered. Also, a simple rule is that nothing happens without a reason. The whole science is based on this law of cause and effect. That what happens is effect and it must have a cause. The effect comes later. Cause precedes the effect. So birth also is an event, is it not so? That I am born also is an event. And like any other effect, that also must have a cause. There cannot be just I am born with no reason at all. So birth is an event which also must have a cause which preceded this birth. Veda will say that the cause is your karma, which is what is responsible for your birth. And somebody's karma is responsible for their birth. There is no karma, there is no past at all. How can there be present? There is no past birth, there is no past. How can there be present? Because present is an event which must presuppose the past. Present is an event called the effect which presupposes the cause. So there is no more logical system than the Vedic system of karma and karma phala, cause and effect. We may not always know the connection between cause and effect. We may not know. So what karma did I perform? I don't know. Why should this happen to me? I don't know. But karma. What karma? I don't know. When did I do that? That also I don't know. And thank God that we don't know. No, I want to know. Suppose you know, so what will happen? Suppose you know what karma you perform in a seventh birth, but you have to confront what is happening anyway, is it not so? By knowing the cause, the effect doesn't change, so why worry? As Gautam Buddha said, when you're struck with arrow, don't waste your time on who sent the arrow, from which direction it came, from which metal the arrow is made, what kind of poison is. Don't waste your time in this kind of questions. Pull out the arrow and treat the wound. And therefore, these Indian people have this preoccupation. What karma did I do, Swami? Why, what does it matter? So this karma which is given to us to explain things also becomes a problem when not properly understood. What its role is not properly understood, that itself becomes a problem. So I'm accumulating a bondage of karma, karma. But bondage of karma is that karma must necessarily give rise to karma phala or the result. In this whole confusion, mess, how does the karma I performed some years, some lifetime ago, how does that karma come to me and not to somebody else? So they say that the cows which are taken for grazing during the day, when the cowherd man brings it back, the cow runs to its own calf. Among all the cows that are there, the cow will find its own calf, not somebody else's. So also, karma phala will find its own karta out of all this mess. So there is no miscalculation, no wrong accounting in Ishvara's system. Because he is omniscient, all-knowing, omnipotent, all-powerful. Therefore there is fairness. What law of karma, there is fairness in the universe. If you do not accept this karma, law of karma, you are not accepting fairness. because it is somebody's fancy that you are what you are. It could be somebody's fancy also that he can take away what all you have done. This fancy. Or somebody's fancy he can give you something for which you have not done. I mean, life cannot run like that. There is no order. There is here the predictability. The science is all based on predictability. The reaction is equal and opposite to action. There are laws. We may not know all the laws and therefore we may not be able to predict everything, but that's our limitation. But there is predictability because there are laws. Cause and effect. So also law of karma is simple law of cause and effect. We may not know which karma and which phala. For that you have to become Ishvara, omniscient, which we are not. And thank God that we are not. But one thing we know, something happens, the result is karma. In what way it is a great solace? Because you don't blame anybody. When something happens, I tend to blame somebody. This fellow is responsible. Or blame myself. To blame, to brand and hang is the nature. You brand, this fellow is a culprit, and blame him. Or I am the culprit, blame myself. So very often when something happens, this blaming happens in our mind, which is very painful. We have no reason or we do not have knowledge to determine who is the cause. What is happening is an effect, all right. But we do not have knowledge to determine who is the cause and what is the cause. You follow what I am saying? What did I do, Swami? I don't know. Something must have been done at some time. And this is the result. All we can say is, karma is the cause for whatever is happening. And in human life there is a lot of pain, unfortunately. And we are required to confront that pain. The human mind demands answers. Why? Why me? Why should it happen to me? And if the mind does not get satisfactory answer to the question why, it gets stuck. So answer is karma. Whose karma? Your karma. When did I do? I don't know. What did I do? I don't know. Why did I do? I don't know, and therefore don't bother. Karma. Our Puja Swami would say, karma is a shock absorber. This answer, karma, gives us an explanation of some kind by which we refrain from blaming anybody. Even though this person may be apparently responsible for what happened to me, if I recognize that what happens to me is a result of some karma I have performed in the past, then what about this person who appeared to do things? He is just an instrument. See, for me to experience something, various factors have to function for that phenomenon to happen. You have breakfast in the morning. Now, to prepare that breakfast is a 7-day work, planning. What nuts will be required, how they have to be soaked, and what fruit will be required, when do you buy them, and put in the refrigerator, ripen them, and all sorts of... What is happening today may have taken 15 days of planning and execution. So many factors are involved. And therefore, it is not possible to determine what is a given thing responsible for a happening. So answer is karma. Definitely. Whose karma? My karma. When? I don't know. Why? I don't know. What? I don't know. Which is good. But Swami, I don't know. Suppose you know, then what will happen? You may become miserable. People have a problem. Swami, how do I know those previous births? Why do you? Well, I don't remember. Thank God you don't remember. There is enough problem with what I remember in this lifetime. Is it not so? Suppose I remember what is the past lifetime and then past life. You'll get crazy. It is best that we don't know. Let him know. Why should I worry? Why me? Well, why not me? When some pain happens, then why me? When pleasure happens, nobody asks this question, why me? So this law of karma is a simple law of cause and effect, that the karma will exhaust itself by giving rise to the result. Until the result is not experienced, we will continue to take births. Nabhuktam kshiyate karma. Abhuktam kara nakshiyate karma, that is, of which result is not experienced, will not get exhausted. Saptakoti, even crores of kalpa, crores of cycles may go on, and still this karma will remain, waiting for an opportunity. This is how they say. We don't have to take all these things too seriously and worry about them. The idea is that cause and effect is law, that cause creates the effect. And that karma, phala will stick to me because I have. So karta becomes bhokta. Who is karta? Karta is the one who performs the karma. Who is bhokta, the experiencer, the one who experiences the result of action. That is why we say fairness. It cannot be that I have to experience the result of the karma performed by somebody else. That cannot be. Otherwise, there is no order in the universe. That there is order shows that there is fairness, shows that I get what I deserve. And you know, this karma, the Westerners blame these Indians and the Vedic culture, you are all fatalists. No, not so. Karma, no, that's not the case. Karma is not fatalism. Karma says that whatever is happening is a result of the past, which I cannot change. But at the same time, I have the freedom to create my own destiny. If the present is the outcome of the past, then present can be the cause of the future. So whereas I cannot change my past, I have the freedom to change the future, create my own destiny. That's what law of karma means. Law of karma is not meant to make me fatalist or I can't have it, I can't do anything. No, you have done it and you will do it. What I'm experiencing today is a result of what I did in the past. And no question why, because you can't change it. But what it means also that what you do today will create your future, which is a great thing. So there's this karma, inevitability of the karma phala, the result accruing from karma is what causes bondage, because the karma that we perform will keep on giving us new birth, and the process of experiencing result, we perform new karma, and thus karma get accumulated, and there is no end to that. So Bhagavad Gita says, Urvamulam adashakam ashwatham prahu avyayam. This is the tree which avyayam is inexhaustible. Adaschodam prastastasya shakha. These different embodiments are countless, below and above, and center is the human birth or human embodiment. Guna pravruddhaha vishay pravalaha adasya mulani anusantatani karma anubandhini manushya. And Manushya performs karma, creates new secondary roots which also spread. And therefore, becoming free can also be described as becoming free from this chain of karma and karma, becoming free from karma bandhanam. So one way to explain the bondage is the bondage of karma, because we have no freedom to change the karma phala. What we are experiencing now in the present is the result of what I did in the past, and I have no control, I cannot change. By the same token, what I do in the present will produce the future, and I will have no, again, freedom to change that. This way looks like this will go on forever. Because we keep on performing karma, keep on producing results, and thus countless births will come. When will this get over? It will never get over. So looking at this chain of karma and karma phala, cause and effect, looks like this bondage bandhana is perpetual. How can there be mukti? How can there be liberation? As long as I am required to experience the result of actions I perform, and unfortunately, in the process of experiencing result, I create new actions. This may be result of my karma of the past, let us say. And while I am experiencing the result, I produce new karma also. So I get upset with somebody, or I get happy and something happens to me, raga dvesha, and that's how new karmas are being performed. I can use this occasion to settle accounts. Somebody said something to me, now they are all captive audience. Captive audience. They have no freedom. So then I can use that occasion and say what I want to say and settle account. I can do that. Produce new karma. I can't get away with that. And that will, if I keep on doing that, they will create a tendency. But every time I use that as an occasion to settle accounts, and so on. It's an amazing thing. Karma performed not only produces the karma phala result, but also leaves a tendency in my mind. And if I perform that karma repeatedly, then a tendency, a strong tendency is created. So I'll just do it habitually. So many things we do habitually. How can you get free, Swamiji? When will you experience the outcome, all the results, the karmas? No, never. Is there ever freedom from karma or bondage of karma? So mukti can also be described as freedom from this bondage of karma. So that is the next topic now. Because yesterday we discussed there is something called Jivan Mukti. A wise person who is the one who is liberated in this life itself. That means that he or she must have exhausted all the karma, isn't it? When can you get liberated? When there are no more karmas waiting for you to experience. As long as the results of karmas are not experienced, they will compel you. They keep on creating new situations, new experiences, new karmas, new actions, reactions will go on. When will there be liberation? When will it be that I exhaust all the karmas? There will never be. Does it mean that there is no liberation? Therefore, now the text Tattvabodha describes mukti or liberation as liberation from the bondage of karma. There are many ways of describing liberation. But in the Vedic thought, the karma is a very important aspect of our life. And therefore, freedom from the bondage of karma is a very relevant way of describing the freedom or mukti or liberation or moksha. And so, the next passage on the page 41, the first line, Brahmaivahamasmi iti aparokshajnanena nikhil karma bandha vinirmukti syat. Nikhila karma bandha vinirmukti syat. Syat will happen. What will happen? Vinirmukti. Mukti, nirmukti, vinirmukti. Total release. A vinirmukti, mukti which will not be followed by bondage. You see, mukti comes. In a moment of happiness, we in a way become liberated momentarily. Then again the cloud of bondage comes. So there are moments when we experience freedom. Like they say, when you listen to slapstick joke, then I have to tell my friend, telling a joke. But he'll give a lecture in form of a joke, So then possibly somebody may fall asleep also. I was watching that night when he was describing jokes, his neighbor was almost falling asleep. The joke became a joke. So when something like this happens, then we feel light and now we feel happy. At that moment, all the bondage is dropped off our mind. What was weighing down on my mind with such anxieties and worries and anxiousness all were there. Something like this releases us. It is for a moment. Unfortunately, that anxiety comes back, the cloud comes back. The cloud moves away, there is a glimpse of the sun. The clouds of anxieties move away, there is a glimpse of freedom. And again the cloud comes back. So we do experience freedom now and then, not that we don't. Particularly when you are ecstatic, something happens, unexpected happens. And you are most pleasantly surprised when you lose yourself. In the morning, the bell rings and you open the door and all of a sudden, a very dear friend you have not met for 15 years comes, you just hug and you are lost. So there are moments like that when we have the experience of liberation at that moment. Because even the distinction that I am experiencing, even that also does not remain. All distinctions drop off for a moment. But then that cloud comes back, cloud of karma, anxiety, etc. comes back. So we want liberation that comes and does not go. We want bondage to go and not come back, and freedom to come and not go. That's called bandha vinirmukti. Bandha the bondage. Vidirmuktahi. Liberation from the bondage once and for all. When the bondage does not come back. Since we do experience freedom from bondage in some moments, and in deep sleep we experience every day, by the way, when we're fast asleep, in the dreamless sleep, deep sleep, there is experience of total freedom. Unfortunately, when we wake up, that cloud is waiting for us. Like in India, there's buffaloes. The flies keep on hovering around buffalo's mouth, bothering it. So it just dips its mouth in water, so flies fly away. The moment it brings out, the flies are right there. Somebody asked Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, they say that when you take a dip in the Ganges, all your karmas, all the papas, all the sins are gone. Then how come we find people same as before, after a dip in the Ganges also? He says, for taking dip in the Ganges, you remove your clothes and put them on the bank, on the ghat. All your karmas stick there. And after the dip, as long as you wear your foot on your clothes, they come back to you. But Vinirmukti, you want all this stuff to go away and not to come back. So, Nikhila karma bandha vinirmukti. Bandha means bondage. Karma bandha, bondage from karma. Nikhila, of all kinds of karma. There are different kinds of karma that will be described. And who is a liberated person? One who is liberated from, once and for all liberated from the results of all the karmas at all the times. No, that is not possible. There is an experience. There is some other way by which you become free. So what is the means by which the wise person has become free from the bondage of karma? Brahmayivahamasmiti aparoksha jnanena. Jnana means knowledge. Aparoksha jnana, immediate knowledge. By immediate knowledge, what is meant is, see, normally when knowledge takes place, like right now you are listening to these words. So there is cognition of these words that takes place through your faculty of hearing. But for you to hear these words, there are several intermediary factors. The ears or faculty of hearing is required for you to hear these words. The mind is required. Not only ears are required, mind also is required. If you are sitting here, words are all falling on your ears and they may be somewhere else and the hearing may not take place. So thus this distance is there, interference is there, vyavadhanam is there. It's called vyavadhanam between you, the knower, and the words that are known. There are these intermediate factors called the faculty of hearing and the mind. They play the role, then only the hearing, that knowledge takes place. So normally, for any cognition to take place, you require the corresponding organ of perception. For example, for the cognition of the words or sounds to take place, you require the organ of hearing. Also, you require the mind. So this between you, the hearer, the knower, and the world which is object of knowledge, there are these factors. The sense organ and the mind. Similarly, seeing, hearing, tasting, touching, the experience take place, each one requires the corresponding organ of perception, the mind. So that is called the vyavadhanam. That what separates you, the knower, from the object of knowledge. It can be called pratyaksha jnanam. There are two jnanam, pratyaksha jnanam and paroksha jnanam. Pratyaksha jnanam, perception. Pratyaksha, aksham, aksham prati. Aksham means sense organ. So knowledge that takes place through the organ of perception is called pratyaksham, perception. The knowledge takes place also without involving the organ of perception directly. For example, you see smoke on that hillock in front of you, and you infer that there must be fire. This is the paroksha, indirect knowledge. Because the organ of eyes are not involved in seeing the fire, you know that by anumanam, by inference, it's called paroksha jnanam. Aksham, aksham prati. When it is in front of the aksham, sense of perception, it is pratyaksha jnana, perception. But when it is away, outside the range of the organ of perception, is called indirect knowledge, paroksha jnana. This two jnanam we know. So knowledge will be according to the object of knowledge. If the object is pratyaksha in front of you, then knowledge that takes place is pratyaksha jnanam. If the object is away from you, like that fire which you don't see, the knowledge that takes place is paroksha. The knowledge or cognition that takes place is in keeping with the object of perception. Now this is how normally knowledge takes place. Paroksha and pratyaksha and paroksha. But there is another entity which does not fall in either category. Pratyaksha, aksham, aksham prati, that which is in front of my sense organs is perception. Away from the range of sense organs, paroksha, indirect. But how about the self? Atma. Now, Atma is not the object of perception, nor is away from me, so Atma cannot be the object of pratyaksha jnanam because it is not in front of me as an object of perception. Nor can there be paroksha or indirect knowledge of Atma because it's not away from me. So, how do you categorize the nature of the knowledge of Atma? It's called aparoksha. Just a word, aparoksha. It's not paroksha. It can be a pratyaksha also, not pratyaksha, not paroksha. Meaning that for knowing Atma, you do not require sense organs because you don't need to see yourself, hear yourself, touch, taste, smell yourself. Nor do you require the agency of mind. Agencies of organs of perception of the mind are not required for knowing the self because it is your own self, immediate one. Therefore, the knowledge of self is called aparoksha jnana, third category of knowledge. Pratyaksha jnanam, paroksha jnanam, aparoksha jnanam. The objects in the range of organs of perception are the perception or the pratyaksha jnanam. Those objects which are beyond the range of sense perception, paroksha jnanam. But the knowledge of perceiver himself is the aparoksha jnana. So this one says, Brahma yamaham asti aparoksha jnanena. That I'm Brahman. What's that knowledge? Brahman, is it something that I see? No. Is it away from me? No. It is myself. So Brahma hamasmi. I am Brahman alone. I am indeed Brahman. I am limitless. That knowledge is called aparoksha jnanam, immediate knowledge, which was all discussed earlier. So this knowledge, by this knowledge, karma, nikhila, karma, bandha, vinirmukta syat, the knower, the wise person gets liberated from the bondage of all the actions by knowledge. Now this is funny, isn't it? See, bondage becomes liberated when the bondage is removed, is it not so? If I am tied with ropes, for example, knowing that I am tied, that doesn't release you. Knowledge doesn't do anything. You are locked up in the elevator, knowledge that I am locked up, that doesn't release you. Knowledge doesn't do anything. How come the knowledge that I am Brahman releases me from bondage? Because we said in the beginning of this class that I am bound is a notion and not a reality about me. Like that cow thinks that I am bound, so also you and I think that we are bound. I am bound, Swami. What do you mean? Where is the freedom? I have to go now. You stop and please conclude your class. I have other things waiting for me, and they are. I can't come tomorrow, Swami, and such thing. I would like to come. I like to do things, I cannot do them. And I don't like to do, I have to do them. Okay, same cooking and same stuff, Swami is saying. So much helplessness, So, then you are bound like something should happen to liberate you, is it not so? Vedanta says, no, that I am bound, I am helpless. Helplessness does not belong to I. Helplessness may be at the level of body. Helplessness may be at the level of mind or the ego. Helplessness is not at the level of self. Even when I think that I am helpless, the I is not helpless. Because I is Brahman, I am limitless. Limitless is my nature. Boundlessness is my nature. What is called bound? What is boundless? Boundless is that which cannot be bound. That I am bound is a notion, not a reality, born of ignorance of the nature of myself, and therefore it is a knowledge alone that can remove ignorance or the notion born of ignorance. If bondage was real, no knowledge can remove that. You tie me up here, I know I am bound. That doesn't release me. No knowledge will release me. Action will be required. But I think that I am bound. Sometimes happens, Oh, please release me. But but I think I am bound. Something happened to my mind. Then that notion has to go. Similarly also, there is a notion in our mind, some ignorance. Therefore, it is knowledge of self that removes the notion born of ignorance. That's how knowledge of the self becomes a means of liberation. Because we are already liberated. The liberated one thinks that he is bound, and therefore all that is required is for the notion of bondage to go. Swami, we keep on hearing and still I feel the same helpless. That is because of the samskaras. That we keep on imposing helplessness upon ourselves. Every event is interpreted as helpless, dukkha, helpless. It's a habit. It has become our habit to interpret everything as dukkha, everything as helplessness, everything as bondage. But I want to go, I can't go. So what is the bondage? You can't go, don't go. I want to go, but that's your problem. Why do you want to go? Don't go. So that person insulted me. That's his problem. That he insulted is not a problem. I felt insulted is my problem, that the person can say and do what they want. It's confined there. There's no rule that just because somebody says something that I have to become sad, his problem, his opinion. But we make their opinion our opinion and then feel helpless, miserable. So we have a lot of participation in feeling helplessness, miserable, etc., we also contribute. If you don't contribute, then nobody can make us helpless. Swami, they'll lift you up and then that's all they can do. That's okay. They can imprison you. So what? Our Swami used to say in the past, I think it was in 1976 or 67 or sometime Indira Gandhi, there was a big demonstration by the sadhus against the cow slaughter. They would remove the cow slaughter, and so lots of sadhus came to Delhi, and they were all arrested and put them. They did not become successful. So the police would arrest the sadhus, put them in prison, release them after 2 or 3 days, and then. So this first wave of the demons didn't become successful, so they planned a second wave. So these sadhus came to our Swami. Swami, let us go and participate in this. That's why? See, it's nice, They arrest you and then for 3 days or 5 days, one of you get free food, For somebody it is arrest, it is imprisonment. For somebody it is free food also, isn't it? It's a matter of how you interpret. So this habit of interpreting everything as miserable, bondage, that is our habit. That goes away. Everything is in order. I'm in order, everything is in order. Anyway, that's one way of describing freedom, by knowing my true nature. And that's how there is the freedom from the bondage of karma that we described today. We'll see further tomorrow. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Krutau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavad Vyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.